Awesome.
Hello.
Look at that.
Hello.
Hey, welcome to Big Ten Frenemies episode.
Hello,
Who
viewers.
gives a fuck?
Whoa.
Oops, sorry. I'm under a
It's
lot
like
of stress
25,
today, guys.
I
I
think.
gotta come straight out and say it.
My teeth.
It's
I
like
just came from the dentist.
What happened? Oh, wow.
It's
Cleaning.
like when a girlfriend that you know is gonna break up with you. It's gonna happen, you know that, but it still hurts. So you have time to prepare, but it hurts. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Urban Meyer stepped down today. He is retiring after the Rose Bowl. Now, if you are one of our regulars, you have heard me actually call this out and say it was going to happen.
One of
I'm
our
happy.
18 regulars.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, all 18. I'm not upset, but I am sad. As I said, I knew it was coming, and after watching, I've never seen him so calm as in his press conference today. I mean, it was all laughs and fun, and introducing Ryan Day and touting him as elite. And he's been. They wanted him as an offensive coordinator in the NFL, so that's a high honor right there. They want him head coach at a lot of other places, so him coming in, I'm happy about this. And at first I was thinking, do we really want to just promote an offensive coordinator into that position instead of, going out interviewing? Well, I was listening on the radio and somebody reminded me of something. Jimbo Fisher. How did he start out? Offensive coordinator, moved up to head coach. Lincoln Riley, same thing. Chip Kelly, same thing. Great coaches. And starting from there. And
Kirby Smart is another one, and I think Dabo Sweeney. I don't think he was a head coach before, was he?
But you gotta. I think that if you look at past performance is not no guarantee of future results. But I think if Urban Meyer thought that he wasn't going to make a good head coach, he would have said something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's no way that Meyer's going to retire. Nice ride. And not going to be able, not going to give his 2 cents and support.
Yeah. And he even said in the conference he will be there basically on a consulting basis whenever he needs anything. And it's good for him. He needs to get healthy. Obviously, the cyst is a problem. Obviously, what happened at the beginning of the season had to play some sort of role. If you ask Feinbaum, it had everything to do with it. Feinbaum. But I'm happy to see him go out on his own terms. I think that's great, and he gets to play the Rose Bowl, which he has literally never coached before, and it's one of his dream bowls. Because the Rose Bowl was huge. Even when there's national championships, like making the Rose Bowl is a big thing. So for him to go out on his last game, and I'm so pumped for this because your last game, you're not going to play conservatively by no means. He's going to pull out all the stops. We're going to see like old school. It's going to be insane. And they're going to absolutely demolish Washington, I'm sure.
Yeah, take the over.
yeah, definitely take the over. I don't know. What as a Michigan fan, what are your thoughts on him retiring?
I'm conflicted in a lot of ways. And I also, here's the thing. Urban Meyer, I feel like I don't know enough about him to speak. I know a lot of people think.
Well, let's just keep it.
This is okay, but
coaching and what you.
Okay, because like the Florida situation, he left for health concerns and he came back in a couple of years for Ohio State. Will he do the same thing? I don't know. I don't know the degree of his health concerns. I'm not a doctor.
I think in years later he could come back, but only if the Notre Dame job is offered.
So I think, as an average fan, I don't think I'm prepared to talk on that. I don't know about his personal reasons or whatever. So I'll take him at his word that it's just all health related. If that's the case, he's got to go do what he's got to do. As a Michigan fan, part of me is upset about it because I told you this before, I wanted Harbaugh, Urban Meyer, I wanted Harbaugh to beat him. I wanted Michigan to beat him, and he's such a great coach. It's like you want to beat the best. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And so that part of it I'm kind of bummed about. But then part of it is, well, it's not so bad. You start thinking about it that way, it's like, it's not our fault that he left. So if that opens the door for Michigan at all, and I will say, I think Ryan Day looks like a great coach in all regards, okay? Yeah. And he might turn out to be the next hot coach the chances of him being Urban Meyer are like 0.001%. He's like
You're talking
one of the
about
greatest.
a guy who literally has an all-time record
Yeah.
of 186
You're-
and 32.
you're-
That's his whole
17 years.
You're basically
17
replacing Nick
years.
Saban, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So it would be a 1 in a million chance that he's going to be that
No,
good.
and honestly, him replicating what Urban Meyer did at Ohio State alone, not just his entire career, but just at his 7 years at Ohio State, that's not easy to do.
No.
You're talking about an 82
There's-
to 9. 82 and 9.
That's an insane record. It's insane, and it gets pretty tough competition, right? So,
oh, yeah.
his achievements were insane. So yeah, I think not just Michigan. I think probably Michigan State, Penn State. I think the rest of the Big Ten are going to look at this as a teeny opportunity. Maybe they're going to get one more recruit that they wouldn't have, or maybe Jim Harbaugh, Mark D'Antonio, they have a lot more experience now than Ryan Day, right? Running a program is
True,
different
very
than
true.
just calling X's and O's. I mean, you got to recruit, you got to do the PR.
Yeah,
You're
it's not
responsible
just the
for
X's and O's, it's the
Ohio
G's and
State is a
Joes.
huge program. And
How are you with donors?
I looked at their schedule next year. You guys have a pretty easy schedule. Like, you don't play any tough non-conference
There you go.
teams,
Thank
right? So you don't have an Oklahoma or Texas or something like that.
Nope. Our
But
non-conference is Miami of Ohio.
so you're
the
probably
Red
gonna.
Hawks. It's not a real animal.
He's
people.
probably
It's
going to
not.
be fine rolling out, but that would be one concern I would have for him. If you trip up early, if you lose at Indiana or some game like that, the freaking people are going to be turn on him like
don't
that.
get me wrong, because
Just-
I'm going through all the fan sites. I'm going through all the fan pages, and I keep seeing some Ohio State fans get me angry, and they're like, "Well, I wonder what non-conference road game we're gonna lose next year." Like, have some damn positivity already, Jesus.
Let's get. What's your take on the whole thing, Phil?
I mean, it's a little different for me because we did have, not a ton of success, but if any team had some success against Ohio State, it's Michigan State.
What was your
Mark
record on Urban
D'Antonio.
Meyer?
We beat Urban thrice,
3 times?
twice.
Twice?
Because we ended it when we ended the streak in 13, so 3 times. 3 times.
So 3 and 4 against Herbs.
No. How many years did Herbs coach?
7.
And you guys played extra game because you played in the Big
In the
Ten,
Big Ten,
right?
And 2 we beat them twice in the regular season,
And
once
one in
the
there.
Big Ten championship.
Okay, yeah. So 3 and 5.
Yeah.
You would have played 8.
Yes,
Yeah, but
correct,
still, that's
correct.
3 and 5.
the most successful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's and we played, look, even in 16 when we had a 3-19, we played them tough. This year it was a game if our offense had the audacity to even show up, or if we had an offense to show up. It was there was not.
They did, and then they threw it out the end zone.
That's true. Good strategy. So we've been there's been a couple blowouts in the series. Ohio State's beaten Michigan State pretty badly a couple times, but otherwise we've had, other than 2 games, we've been pretty successful and shown some success against them. So for me, I honestly I don't. There's not part of me that's like, yeah, I want is there factually going to possibly be more opportunity? Possibly. Ohio State's still a really strong brand and has a lot to offer football recruits, so it's not necessarily going to be easy to pull recruits away. But I'm of the mindset that whether we do or not, we've been competitive with them. So if I think there's other things we need to fix in our program, if we fix those things, it's not dependent on Ohio State, and we can still be successful.
I think James Franklin said it. The Big Ten is down, and we need to step it back up.
Yeah,
James Franklin said that?
Yeah, at a press conference the other day, he called out the entire Big Ten.
Did he?
Yeah.
Because when he lost to Ohio State, he said there's 2 great programs, but Ohio State was elite.
Yeah.
And he said they were trying to get to elite.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
but
think-
that was before he got.
I think
that
he's.
was also
I think he's
yeah.
still right,
Well, he's right. Ohio State's elite,
and he's trying to get to lead,
but he's
not there.
He's really trying to get to great still.
Yeah. I mean, but he's he's won a Big Ten championship. I don't think that they're outstanding by any means, but this was a down year for him too. I would think. It seems like I could be forgetting his.
See,
First year,
I think
but-
he's only had one good year since he's been at Penn State. One really good year, 2016, when they won the Big Ten championship.
And when,
I mean, you can look it up. I don't have my phone. It's recording, but
Yeah.
I know we're 3-1 against him in the last 4, and I think we're 5-1 against him since he started. And
I give him
I don't.
credit for turning around what Penn State was after the
Yes,
whole fiasco.
yeah, but he didn't remember they had the guy that went to the Houston Texans.
Bill,
Bill O'Brien.
O'Brien.
Yeah, he did a good job. I mean, he went through the bulk of that. I'm not saying he's terrible or whatever. I'm just saying
he has something to prove.
Yeah, but he kind of announced that they had arrived after the Ohio State game is great,
True.
and now he's going to rip on the rest of the conference.
So Steve said something very interesting to me today when we were waiting for you. He has a prediction for next season. Ryan Day comes out strong, kicking, beats Michigan, and then Michigan fires Harbaugh, and then Michigan hires Urban Meyer
That wasn't my prediction. That was Gary's prediction at work. And then
Oh,
he
you were
said-
just repeating
Yeah.
Gary's prediction.
That wasn't
Okay.
my prediction.
Okay.
No. I have Michigan 72, Ohio State
Still
3 next
quite
year.
quite the prediction.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, we were joking about that earlier.
But it'd be interesting. It is going to be interesting to see. I feel for you because I know you really like Urban Meyer. I
do.
get
In
it.
fact,
'cause
I just want
I
to
would too
show
if I was an
everybody.
Ohio State fan, probably.
I decided
but-
to change clothes for my work. I got the gray pants. I got the Urban Meyer outfit.
Wow.
I'm good to go.
So I understand
Thanks for the crotch
I understand the part that hurts.
Appreciate it, buddy.
And if he does come back and coach somewhere else, that'll be weird, you know.
Well, but
like that.
it's you know, it's like he's not a player. It's not like this. I guess it's not like this truly, but because Barry was a player. But it's like when you watching greatness go, you know. For me and you, we don't give a shit.
No.
in terms of it's not our team.
Right, but your heart, because you love your team, you love your coach. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
absolutely. I'm gonna be devastated when D'Antonio and Izzo are done. I mean, I'm going to be crushed because I've spent, you know, how many years since '97 and since 2007 with D'Antonio.
I felt that way
love.
with Lloyd.
Yeah, I mean,
And by the way, Lloyd was promoted as an interim coach as a defensive coordinator. He was,
There you go.
because Moeller got drunk, got fired, and a lot of Michigan fans were upset that they gave Lloyd that job, that they should have gone for a national search, and he did a really good job.
Yep.
So
I was looking. So since 1946, we haven't hired a coach from inside and moved them up. It has always
been outside.
On outside. And in that time, since that time, we've only had 7 coaches
Wow.
since 1946.
and Luke Fickell was for 1 year.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, this is the interesting thing to me is to think about what if
that was my
what if he
favorite
does-
era, Luke Fickell.
I can't imagine why, Steve.
Actually, John Cooper, but anyway.
Right, yeah,
there you
so I was
go.
gonna
No,
say,
I'm
don't
sorry.
lie.
Ooh, that's a low blow.
Sorry.
It's going to be interesting to see if there is a slip up, if there's something, if they're not humming next year, or if there's any, I don't know, does it have to be Fickle level collapse? But I mean, Ohio State doesn't fuck around.
No, that's why they
You're
offered
not
him
messing-
four and a
You're not going to last long if you
No,
don't
bro,
win.
it's going to
And
be.
when you're getting $4.5 million on a 5-year contract,
Yeah.
you know they've put some faith in you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I trust everybody who calls him elite, and I'm right there with him. I like the 3 games he was a head coach of. I'll be honest, Bosa was playing at that time, but the whole team had a different feel when he was on the field. You can tell he cares about the team. You can tell he cares about the atmosphere. You can tell everything is there, and he learned a lot of that from Urban, and you thank him for that. But I don't know. I feel really good about Day. I do. And I think it's gonna be-
My gut feeling is that he's going to do fine. You know, again, we're talking about replacing an all-time great. So is it going to be Urban level? Probably not. But you can be below Urban level and
If
still
you're
be
going to be
fucking good.
promoted from a coordinator, there's not a better gig than what he's taking over. I mean,
Right.
loaded with talent, 4 classes worth. You got a filled stadium of over 100,000
He literally
people.
got off the podium and
You
went right back to recruiting.
You got all the resources. Everything is set up for you to win. But let me tell you, as a
and you have
Michigan
Urban Meyer to
fan,
tap into.
Right.
as a Michigan
Still
fan,
there.
we learned the hard way because I was arrogant about that. I used to think anybody could come and coach Michigan. You at least have a winning record, and go to a bowl game. Like I never even, until Rich Rod got there and went 3-9, I couldn't even imagine that. Seriously, they had gone 40 years in a row without a losing season.
Yep.
So if you make the wrong hire, it can turn pretty quickly because Michigan had talent, you know what I mean? I don't think they did either, but you could have a...
It was. I will say one of the great things. It was half joking, but definitely half not. And Gene Smith is talking, and they're like, you're hiring a guy who's really never had a head coaching position besides the 3 games you gave him to. And he broke it down why they chose him and everything. But at the end of it, he ended with, he's like, he knows he has to win games.
That's not a question.
Yeah.
And they interviewed Ryan Day, and they said what was his number one priority, and he said to win their rivalry game.
Yeah.
I heard that. So, son of a bitch.
And he doesn't even refer to Michigan as Michigan. He
Yeah,
only
of
calls
course.
them that school up north or that team up north. So that shows you right off the bat. That's Jim Tressel level. Like we're Woody Hayes. We're getting right back into it. So no,
Fuck that guy. Fuck them all.
Take it that way, but think about it this way. This might be that rivalry. Maybe we thought it was Harbaugh and Urban, but
maybe it'd be Ryan Day.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I need something to hate him by. I don't know him yet. You know, I mean, he used to say something where I'll get to not like him. So I'm looking forward to that.
I
don't like the fact that he designed the offense and scored 60 or 56 points or whatever. I don't like him about that.
That's true.
But I have to think of something to, you know what I mean?
Speaking of which, speaking of that offense, Dwayne Haskins was one of the 3 that will be going to New York for the Heisman.
Yeah, deservedly so.
Yeah.
I hope he goes from there to the NFL draft.
I do too. I would like him to stay around, but I think he has a lot of talent and he can go places.
He needs to go.
And we also have a lot of QBs there and a lot of QBs coming in. And with people leaving, it's good. But I want to talk about the Heisman a little bit.
Okay.
Because I also feel like people have been so focused on Tua and Murray. And that's great. They're great quarterbacks by all means. Murray has one of the greatest QBRs of all time. But when you look at the numbers, I'm talking passing touchdowns, I'm talking yards, Haskins blows them both out of the water. 100% he does. You can look at the numbers. And he's also heading into a game where if he throws, 450 yards and 3 touchdowns, he will now have 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in his career. And that's not unheard of for him to do over 4. He did 499 in the last game.
Including the only other game was last year against Michigan.
Yeah, so he has total 51 yards, or 51 touchdowns, but 4 of those are him running in. So you still got 47, and 3 touchdowns is not tough. The 50 is there. He can do it. And the 400 yards, 450 yards.
I don't like how they handle the Heisman these days. Like I feel like when did it become it has to be like the best player on the best team no matter what? Like it just seems like.
Thank you.
Tua's a great player, but
it seems like it's all team oriented now.
Yeah, it never used to be, right?
Yeah. It was
you always had to be on a winning team.
Yeah.
But you could be on a 2-3 loss team and have great numbers.
Except for Lamar Jackson.
That's right.
That's right. Lamar showed some pretty solidness. Yeah, I like that. But no, lately, yes, it has.
I don't know. I'm not sure when that switch was made, but I think it. But it's always been quarterback, running back deal, anyways.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, are you really talking about the best player, or are you talking about the best quarterback, running back?
Yeah.
So once it's I don't know. To me, it's like you have the Davey O'Brien Award if you want to single out quarterbacks. So why do you need
sometimes
Doak Walker
the person? Sometimes different quarterbacks win the different awards, and then a different winner wins the Heisman.
Which is the hilarious thing.
Yeah.
So
you weren't the best quarterback, but you're the best player in the country. So there you go. No, I don't get it. I'll say this as somebody who hasn't studied all 3. Haskins is as deserving as anybody else.
Absolutely.
I have no problem if you won the Heisman Trophy.
And here's my thing is, so you've got Tua at the top, but Tua only has 50 more rushing yards than Haskins.
One thing I'll say in Tua's behalf,
blows him out of the water by almost 1,000 yards in the air.
At the beginning of the year, didn't Tua wasn't he sitting on the bench by halftime because the games were such blowouts and stuff? So
yeah, and pretty much they throw in Jalen Hurts, and then he got injured here at the end of this game, so Hurts came in.
That was so poetic. My
Yeah,
God,
it
I
was.
mean, watching
I
that,
felt good for that kid, even though I don't like Alabama.
Yeah.
And
but-
then everybody came forward, and it was cool that they were all behind him. They're like, "This is why you don't leave a program."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, imagine if J.T. Barrett or Cardell Jones had left Ohio State. I
Yeah.
don't think we would have gone to the national championship.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah, I totally agree. I think
patient.
jumping around is kind of stupid, but no, to each their own. That's your opinion. That's fine.
Now, is there anybody? You guys have Gary sitting out. You guys have anybody that's gonna other than Bosa?
Well, yeah, Bose is out, but no, the rest of our team is pretty much came forward. Hoskins said he's in. I think the team is really going to show up for Urban, like Urban has always showed up for them,
Yeah.
and say, you know what, I'm here for him.
Yeah. As I said before Phil got here, I think they knew before the Michigan game, and they showed up in that one.
I 100% agree because Shelley's tears at the very end were kind of a giveaway. That was, I mean, I understand a huge rivalry and a huge win.
Yeah,
but
she was
yeah.
quite emotional.
And-
yeah.
they-
And you're
the
telling me
cameras-
if he knew that, he wouldn't try to use that as motivation and
Exactly.
stuff. There's
And
no
you also have to
way.
understand, you've got early deadline for a signing coming up on December 19th. If we didn't have an active coach,
Yeah.
that would have definitely lost us a few.
Well, he
recruits
even
right
said
there.
that in the press conference. He said, "I've had more and more people recruits asking, well, you're going to be here for 4 or 5 years," and he couldn't honestly say, "Yeah, I'm going to."
Yeah.
And when it gets to that point, then he's just like, I had to give it up and make my decision.
100% agree. So let's jump right into it. We're all in bowl games. You guys are in the Peach Bowl, right? Yep. And you guys are facing up against Florida again,
Yeah.
but a better Florida. So that's good.
Florida, this is the best Florida team that Harbaugh's faced. I know
Yeah.
that.
Of the
But
now to be
it's funny.
free.
Michigan's played Florida more than 6 Big Ten teams over the
Yeah.
last 3 years.
Unless-
Out of the Big Ten
last
West.
2 years, because they played them in a bowl game 2 years ago.
that's right,
and then
yeah.
the first game. I mean, it's
I don't
literally
know what
been
they're
2 calendar
looking
years.
at when they. It would have been perfect to me if they would have done Central
guys
Florida and
played
Florida and
Florida.
Peach, and then Michigan, LSU, and the Fiesta. You would have had a lot more viewers interested in both those games.
I agree
think.
completely. I agree
Absolutely.
completely.
And they're the same at matchup really to me. I mean, you got 4 teams that are ranked between 7 and 10.
No, I totally
mix them
agree.
up, yeah. Anyway,
Very true.
but the part I'm nervous as a Michigan fan is I've seen a lot of fans out there. Oh, we don't want to play them again or whatever. Michigan's 4-0 against Florida. They've never lost to Florida.
Yeah.
I don't want that mentality like.
But Mullins, I don't
Because
know.
this
he's
is
gonna-
a
he's
better
gonna bring a
Florida
whole-
team.
oh, yeah.
Exactly.
This
like
is.
I want them to really want this game and to go after it because it'd be nice to end on a win, an 11-win
Not
season.
to bring up old shit, but you don't want to have a South Carolina.
No.
last
It's a
year.
bad.
gave
It
that
is
game
a
up.
very.
Yeah.
It's a very. It really is. D'Antonio has always preached it, and he's always pointed back to our 2012 team, which had an abysmal offense after Kirk Cousins, Andrew Maxwell leading the way, and was just not good. We were 6-5 going into a throwaway game against Minnesota. I'm sorry, 5-5 because we had to win to become bowl eligible. Sorry, 6-5. We had played like Youngstown State or someone that didn't count. So we were 6-5, but we needed one more win to become bowl eligible, and we can't. It was an awful game against Minnesota. No one could have given a shit about it as far as in the national scene, but that team decided we're not going home. We're going to go bowling, whatever it is, get some extra practices, and go. And that's what they did. They earned it. They went out and beat Minnesota. They went to the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. Buffalo Wild Wings. And had to come back and beat Texas Tech. It was not a pretty thing.
So what bowl are you in this year?
The Red Box Bowl
Oregon.
I did not know that
against
was a bowl.
Oregon. So
Yeah, you guys
the
got
point is that
pretty
next year next year we go on to win the Rose Bowl. I mean, we have one loss. It's really
It sets the
imperative.
tone for the
It
next
sets
year.
that is exactly
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
It sets the tone, and then you do have extra practices that are coaches.
That's
have
why
more than one coach that are
you
invaluable.
mentioned like Gary sitting down and stuff. I don't have a problem with that at all. And unless you're in the playoffs now, I think that's kind of a win-win because you want to win the game, but it's about next year's team. So if a young guy gets to play in place of Gary, it's helping next year's team.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I like that.
I still don't like it, but I agree. There's different points of view, or there's there's pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
I still overall, I'm never going to. I don't like it. Just face value. That's all I can say. I've said it from the beginning. Doesn't matter if it's Michigan State player, Ohio State. I don't like it.
Nope.
Nope, not
Wow.
Not us.
Dang. Second order. But yeah, the Red Box Bowl, Oregon. Be there, be square. We've actually played Oregon quite a bit.
Yeah, that's right. You have.
I mean, it can't. All I
What's
would say
their
is
record this year? I don't even know.
It's not
they
great.
are no. They are 8-4.
Okay,
I think
that
their
sounds
game on us. Listen, we had an utterly disappointing season for various reasons, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it was disappointing, and this is as good as we can hope on New Year's Eve. At the 3 o'clock game, it's not at night when people are partying. It's there's no other games on, so it's against a Oregon team that isn't as good as they once were, but they still.
But they draw a crowd.
Yeah, and it's in Northern California. It's Santa Clara. It's not the Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium where it's going to be 24 degrees high.
That's not much of a reward for the
no,
players.
it's. I mean, oh great! I played in Yankee Stadium. Yeah, I froze my balls off in Yankee Stadium. That's not as fun, but whatever. It's just it's as good as we could hope for
You're in a
this
bowl.
season we had.
You're in a bowl,
and especially when we had a great defense and a miserable offense. You can get a better bowl by having a great offense and a miserable defense because it's more exciting. Nobody wants to see you putting up fucking 6 points on Nebraska. Even if you won 6-0 or 6-3,
Right.
nobody wants that shit. If you're gonna beat them, 59-42 or 47,
Like the old Texas Tech or Washington
exactly.
State teams, like
Doesn't
the Leach teams or whatever.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So for having the team we had, the season we had, it is what it is. We got to take it and beat them and move forward into the off season.
Well, we'll touch more on the bowl games as we get closer to them, as we obviously have pretty much a month until this.
Yeah.
But I want to touch on basketball. But before we get into that, Green Bay wants to hire Harbaugh.
Green Bay. I saw something online.
Well, he is a Packer.
I saw on.
Do you understand that joke?
Yes, I
Okay,
understand
good.
that joke. Yes.
He's letting it.
Yes.
Good.
They packed the cheese there, not the fudge, and I know what he meant. So
Whoa.
yeah. Anyway,
Are you talking about packing the fudge in Wisconsin?
I saw
or
somebody online had him like number one on their list, and they said
Mac
the
and I.
Packers general manager loves Jim Harbaugh. They want him, but
Yes.
I don't think, I could be wrong. You never know. You see this stuff. I don't think there's a
But he
chance
hasn't
in
come out
hell.
and said anything yet.
No, but he never addresses that. He never will. And
He'll probably just talk about big dogs and get
Yeah.
lost on his ADD.
I would be shocked if he. Why would you leave this job now and go back to the NFL? I mean,
Aaron
why
Rodgers.
would you? But honestly,
Aaron Rodgers.
tell me, I'm biased or whatever, but tell me, you got to remember too, he loves Michigan like I do. I mean, he played there, he grew up, he was a ball boy when he was 7 years
Yeah.
old.
I don't think he would. I mean, if
I don't think
listen,
so either. To answer your question, reason
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron
Rodgers, and you have.
Feel like you
have
could
the
win a
chance-
Super Bowl? Is
You
that
have the
why?
chance to create a whole new team around Aaron Rodgers. That's a pretty legit deal. Not gonna lie.
But is it? I see. That's where I'm not sure that, and this is where I'm not NFL free and very NFL light,
Yeah, me
very
too.
very. So I don't. It just seems like Green Bay needs some work before they're going to be. If he was, bouncing into some place where pretty much all the pieces were there,
Ready
had to
to
do
go.
some minor tweaking, a different voice in the locker room.
But he might be this guy, okay? Here's where I'm actually going to see you guys' point on something, okay? So here's where our ideas of Coach Harbaugh might actually meld. Because your point was that he hadn't won a championship yet, like at Michigan, right? But here's what he does. Everywhere he's gone has been a piece of shit, and he's taken him to a winning team. So maybe, there are some people that they're resurrection coaches. Like, they love taking a pile of shit and making it really good. So he did that at the University of San Diego, he did it at Stanford, he did it with the 49ers, and then he did it with Michigan. He's taken a team that was losing before he got there. I think all of those had losing records before he got there. Stanford was like 1-10, and then he took them to like winning, 10 wins, Super Bowl in the NFL. So maybe that's, you know what I mean? Maybe that's attractive to him. I could resurrect the Green Bay Packers. I don't think he's going to take it in a million years.
I don't think so
Because I
either.
think he wants to see this through. I really do.
I don't see him leaving
If
Michigan for a
he
while.
coached Michigan 3 more years and he got a national title and he won a Big Ten championship and the right job came calling, I'd be a
Then
little
maybe,
nervous. I'd be
yeah.
like, maybe he wants to win a Super Bowl. But I don't think he'd leave it right now.
I agree. All right.
Anyway,
Let's
you brought
jump,
it up.
Let's
Yeah.
jump into basketball. We only
Okay.
have a little bit. How much are we at? Okay, perfect. We have 5 minutes left. So let's make it quick. You guys are actually playing tonight. You guys have Northwestern.
Nervous
Dude.
about this one.
Right?
Nervous about
And
this
you
one.
guys are highly touted. You guys have had some really big wins.
Yes. This game terrifies me, and it's Northwestern. I don't know if you've seen them this year, but I think they're
No,
6-2.
Northwestern. Basketball,
They
I
played
haven't
good
yet.
against Georgia Tech. They're a little more athletic. That's a team that gives Michigan fits.
Northwestern Athletic or Georgia Tech Athletic?
Northwestern. Like, I couldn't believe some of the guys on that team.
I'm gonna have to see this
Here's a
tonight.
fun
Yeah, but
fact for my fellow Michigan
they're always
fans.
competitors, and they always make it to
Michigan,
the dance. I mean,
Michigan has lost the last 3 games in Evanston. 3 in a row
Wow.
on the road at Northwestern.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
We don't play
it's
well
a,
there.
It's an awful
We
place. Have you ever
lost
been there?
last
So,
year.
so
No.
this is a mental block.
It's
Yeah.
like a large high school arena,
it's-
and it can be really loud and annoying when you're upsetting the
Well,
visiting
I don't know
team.
if it's the building there
Well, I hope Bill Murray's
or
there
if
to
it's
booze
their
you.
style, but for whatever reason, they've won 3 in a row in Evanston against Michigan, including last year. Later, it was the last game we lost last year was at Northwestern, their national title game. So yes, and again, it's a regular season game. If they lose, it's not the end of the
Yeah,
world.
that's
But
the beauty of the regular
I have a
season.
feeling. I just have a bad feeling about it. So this, I think, will be Michigan's toughest test.
Okay.
Yep.
So far.
Yep.
So far.
Yep.
I mean, and that's
Villanova,
including-
North Carolina.
I know it
Bill-
sounds
I think-
stupid.
I get what you're
I
saying.
can say North Carolina, but Villanova they're off their game. I mean, Wisconsin beat them.
No.
No.
Or is that
Furman,
Xavier?
Furman.
Xavier.
Xavier,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah,
Xavier.
Furman.
Thank you.
So
Sorry.
Furman
Yeah.
beat Villanova, but
Yes.
Furman's number 25 in the country.
Yes.
So I'm
Yeah.
I'm looking to try and get some idea of what's going on. I'm like, Texas. I really appreciated that win that Michigan State had, but then I'm like, look at they lost to fucking Radford.
I know, but they beat North Carolina.
Right. So I'm like, I'm just fucking completely lost.
But that's the
And
beautiful
this-
thing about
it is,
basketball.
and
Is
that's-
basketball it's not like football. I mean, the tides can turn so quickly.
They can.
And you're out before you even know it.
Either way, Michigan is probably top 3 greatest teams I've seen all time in college game.
Yeah. They're
I'm
doing
pretty
it.
sure this is
I hate to
the
admit
best
it, but
Michigan
yeah.
team I've ever. No,
What was the year UNLV went undefeated? I compared
it
to
was
that.
1990.
Yeah, compared to that team. Jarvis Bass Knight, Greg Anthony. All right, go ahead.
No,
what about
I
the Spartans?
mean-
Spartans had a big win the other night.
Kicked the shit out of Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an absolute bludgeoning. It ended up being 22 points. We were up for 30 for a lot of the significant portion of the game. We absolutely torched them. And I'm not sure what to think of Iowa. They beat
They beat Oregon.
Oregon, and they had
beat
UConn. Again, I don't know how good any of these teams are, so we just know them for their name. And I'm not able to watch as much basketball as I would love, but
The Big Ten looks good, though.
I didn't like their response. They couldn't hit the broad side of a barn, so it was hard to tell. We were playing really good D, but it's hard to tell when a team can't hit a shot.
Yeah.
How much of it is just your D? How much is that? We ran the ball. I mean, we made 31 buckets. We had 28 assists.
Wow.
I mean, absolutely incredible numbers as far as that goes. It was I mean, I don't know. I didn't know anybody that had a bad game. Missed some free throws, but other than that, turnovers were low. We had 4 turnovers well into the second half. With probably about 8 minutes left, we put some of the freshmen in and got 4 more turnovers. But otherwise, it was an outstanding game. I'm really interested to see how the season plays out. February is going to be big. If Michigan and Michigan State continue the way they're going, it's going to be 2 fucking tilts.
Well, we got a
in
long
February.
season ahead of us. I'm excited. We have two losses. We're still we dropped from number 16 to number 19, so we're still in the top 25, which is exciting and better than I thought we would. But I really don't want to speak about it until I see us face off against some bigger people after losing to Syracuse, some non-ranked teams. Once we move along, then I'll be more secure in saying what Ohio State looks like this year. I'm not as secure as you guys because you do have one of the best teams. You guys always have a legit team. Ohio State is still in their rebuilding process right now. So
They look tough though.
They're
I think
definitely
playing
tough,
in
and they got a
Columbus,
great- they
like
got
when
a
Michigan
great
travels to Columbus, I'll be nervous about that one. I don't see, you know.
So it'll be good. I can't wait to see what happens in their next couple games to see how they bounce back.
Who do you guys have coming up?
Ooh, good question.
Who did you play in the Big Ten?
Well, in the Big Ten.
Yeah, because
You guys beat Minnesota. I watched some.
Yeah,
of it.
that was last night. That
yeah.
wasn't last night, but that was the
Sunday
most recent
night.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was good because I just came off of a loss.
Yeah.
So we.
I didn't.
we
You
really
were
did.
smoking them when I was watching,
Yes.
and I turned it
I
off.
believe it was a 20-point win.
and
Yeah.
Minnesota's supposed to be a solid team.
Yeah,
this year.
so I mean we're on and off, and I think we're finding ourselves as a team and seeing, players are really starting to connect. But you need that. You're going to have a few losses. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not gonna
We played Purdue. I didn't even talk about that, but Michigan led Purdue from beginning to end and just smoked them. And they're a pretty
Yeah.
good team. I was like, I try not to get too excited this time of year either because I've seen where we look really bad and we end up really good, and I've seen where we start off really good, we go in a big dip. So I don't know what to make of it either.
Well,
but
it's definitely going to be an exciting
It's gonna be
season of
great.
basketball for the Big Ten in general, not
Yeah.
just us.
No,
Yeah.
I think it is. Because the Big Ten is really deep. It may not be I think Michigan has the biggest claim as far as national recognition and
We're
Michigan
the
State
SEC
right.
of basketball.
It is deep. It really is.
is
I mean, we
deep.
played
When you're in
Rutgers.
the top 25, you have a lot of guys in it. But I don't want to get too deep as we have run out of time.
Damn.
I'm getting the red light in the
overextended.
background from our Chippewa friend.
Jordan gets very angry
Yes.
if we run too long.
He's got a lady. He's got a special lady
got-
friend that
got
he's
a
got to
lady
go
friend.
see.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Me
thank
too.
you for tuning in to another episode of Big Ten Frenemies. I'm your host, Buckeye Drew.
The Wolverine Steve.
Spartan Phil, go green.
Go blue.
Go Bucks.
And see.